Yes, Assassin's Creed 3 is about the American Revolution. So the events before, during, and after the Revolution. So it's a story spanning 30 years. Well, you get to discover the new hero also of Assassin's Creed 3, who is called Connor. He's half Native American from the Mohawk tribe and half English. So basically, it's the story of Connor as a young boy who sees his village destroyed by the British troops, and he will have a sense of justice that will be very characteristical to the character, and he will try to find basically that justice, confront the elders of his tribe to act, and they won't. But they say, you know what? There's an order called the Assassins that the tribe has some links with. So he will seek those assassins. Finally, will join them, and in his fight for justice and freedom, he will end up fighting the American Revolution and create the new country, which is America.
Okay. In the previous Assassin's Creed, the CEO Altair was linked to Desmond. Will Desmond come back, or is there a completely new?
Yes, Desmond will come back. He is out of his coma. He's alive, and the player will get to play him. He has more face time than ever before.
Okay. Now you guys could search for a completely new setting. What's new in the setting compared to the older setting?
Yes, well, it's tough to talk about the American Revolution and the New World without having forests in the game. Like forests were huge landscapes, huge lakes at the time. It's really a big part of what America is all about at this time. So we had to include forests in there. So we have a huge map, 1.5 times the size of Brotherhood of Rome in Brotherhood, and it's a completely 3D explorable space. So you can climb trees, you can climb rocks. We rewrote actually we wrote all the behavior system to support a new climbing, very fluid, very organic around the forest. Also, the forest introduces a new weather system, so we're gonna have fog, rain, and snow in the game. And snow is just not cosmetic; it will affect the gameplay. There's different levels of snow affecting how the player moves in it, how the enemies moves in it. And the forest also introduces hunting, so we have hunting in the game, big portion of it. A lot of animals also in the forest. The forest was, or what we call it the frontier, was also the moment of a lot of historical moments. So battles, for example, Bunker Hill, which is very famous. Also, we have villages like Lexington and Concord. So we feel the forest is really like a third city on top of Boston and New York, which will be also playable in game. We feel that it's really like a full 3D universe for that will be very fresh for the player and a lot of new opportunities of gameplay.
Okay. You've noticed the forest will be a lot bigger than Rome. How much bigger is the whole game compared to the Revelations or the biggest Assassin's Creed game?
I mean, we don't want to communicate on very specific game lengths or anything like that, but you can expect a very, very big game. I mean, the scope is pretty big. We have a story spanning 30 years, like I said, so we have a lot of story to tell. We have a lot of gameplay to offer. This is AC3. I mean, it's a new hero, it's a new setting, so you can expect a pretty big game.
Now, you talked about the forest, that you can do a lot of stuff in the game. How much will the nature influence the gameplay, the overall gameplay of the game?
The nature plays a big portion of it. We like to think that the forest that we had earlier on in the development process is like the lab that we use it as a lab for gameplay features. For example, I mentioned that you can climb trees and rocks, so that led to the new climbing system that also applies in cities now. Hunting involves moving in like low bushes and stuff, and gameplay we call the stalking to track down your prey. So all of that forest gameplay also applies to cities to really give that new feeling for the new character, which is around his Native American heritage.
Okay. We've seen in the demo that there will be more animals like bears and
Yep.
dogs, but mostly the dogs are walking around in the city. Is it possible to have your own dog and use them in fights or something like that?
I mean, you have your own dog. It's not like dog simulation kind of game, but you will be able to use dogs as gameplay ingredients if you want. Dogs will be in cities and will help you out in many ways. So yes, you'll be able to use dogs, maybe to track down people and stuff like that. So dogs will play some role in cities. They're not just there to hang around with.
Cool. You also noticed, you also mentioned that there will be kids in the game. Is it possible to kill the kids?
Yeah, well, with the introduction of kids in the game, obviously we didn't want to go the route where you can kill them. That would just be creepy in a way. So yeah, the kids are in the game, but they will be invincible. So no killing kids.
Assassin's Creed 2 was a big improvement compared to Assassin's Creed 1. Brotherhood and Revelations were more of the same with some were new features, and that was it. What is the most important improvement in Assassin's Creed 3 that makes it a completely new experience in a well-known environment?
Yeah, well, we like to say that AC3 is not an evolution, it's a revolution, in a way that we rewrote most of the systems, actually, most of the gameplay systems, but already focused on the three main game pillars, so combat, navigation, and stealth. But for example, we rewrote the whole fight system to support dual-handed combat and muskets and pistols, new strategies for the guards, new AI. In terms of navigation, we have the whole new climbing system. Connor is way more fast and agile, so he has different options when he's free running. He can pass over obstacles, pass under. There's also the way he approaches things, the new climbing system, very fluid, very organic. There's in the stealth portion of it, there's also links with the way he hunts. So he will stalk his prey. He can use a bow and arrow as well to hunt, also on British Redcoat. So basically we rewrote we went back to the foundations of the game and we rewrote major systems. So we're really confident that it's a major step forward in the AC franchise.
The previous Assassin's Creed games, the protagonist had the hidden blade, but in the demo we saw Connor playing with an axe and that kind of stuff. Does he still have the hidden blade?
Oh yeah, obviously he's Connor's an assassin, he's a full-fledged assassin, so he will have his hidden blade, and with new moves to go along with it. You saw one where he's running down, and we call that the running assassination. So obviously he will have new moves like that, but also the tomahawk, which is very a staple of the Native American of the time.
There was some criticism about the fighting system and mostly about the defense that didn't really work in every part, and every part is getting better and better and better. But is it still the same, or did you guys have made a completely new fighting?
Yeah, well, we rewrote the fight system to support, first of all, the new guards that have muskets, so they will form firing lines that will try to shoot at you, and it opens up a bunch of new strategies for the players. So basically you have to find a way to dodge this first salvo of bullets. Guards will get you, will attack you on hand-to-hand combat, while others might recharge their muskets, for example. And we also rewrote the fight system around more of a counter system, so it's going to make the fight way more dynamic, and we also changed the cameras and all the animations. So the fight will feel very fresh for players, I believe.
Okay. Last question. The single player is mostly important, but since the last few parts you guys also introduced the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Will this come back too?
Yes, multiplayer will be back, done by our wonderful ANSI team, the same team that did the multiplayer in the past games. But at this moment, we can't really tell more, but you'll have to stay tuned in the next following months to have details about the AC3 multiplayer.